Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. This is episode 5 of Controllers and Katanas. I am Martin Cool, and this is Ian, aka Relic. I'm going to get straight into anime, so let's go. So, Windbreaker, episode 4. What we're seeing, Ian?
This one, I think, was probably my favourite episode so far out of the 4. Mainly because we get a hell of a lot in this one. We get to learn a lot more about the characters. I'm going to kick it off as well. The way it starts, essentially they're just there, top dogs, just talking about vegetables for a good minute or so. Like, straight up, like, oh, look at my sprouts, look at my, like, he literally just loves his garden, doesn't he? He's talking about all these different vegetables he's growing on his rooftop, mate.
I like the bit like they all go to the head man. It's like it reminds me of school, when all the bad boys go to the headmaster, like to confess the sins of what they did.
Is it Umamiya or something? His name, isn't it?
Is it Yumemiya?
Yeah, Umamiya. Yes, something like that. Yeah. Sick guy.
He's a top bloke. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when that young guy starts telling him what happened, and like Umamiya's like, oh, thanks him basically, doesn't he? Like, oh, how Sakura etc. saved them, and just starts laughing at how bad the guy got kicked in the head, mate. He's like, oh, thanks for saving the young guy. Like, oh, can't believe you kicked him in the head. That was wicked, mate. I bet he was proper stupid.
Yeah, and they're all they're all a bit nervous, aren't they? Because he's the top man, and it turns out he's just like really nice, approachable guy.
Yeah, just a decent
he's
guy.
A funny guy. He literally explains, like you said, about all the vegetables. And yeah, he's really kind of understanding. But the guy's like really like scared, and he tells him what happened. He's just like, yeah, the other, can't remember what the other clan's called, but he says, yeah, they're like really weak these days. They're really lame, aren't they? So
yeah, he's like, oh yeah, they're lame, picking on people that are weaker than him and stuff like that. Like, he's a bit annoyed, to be fair, isn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, he thanks Sakura for protecting his family, like his Vin Diesel. But then again,
pat on his head.
Yeah, pats him on his head. But then I think that's another thing, in it. Like, sort of gets Sakura thinking about like how he feels about the place and how he's felt all his life, and you can tell he's really starting to fit in, and he's really starting to enjoy the environment he's in and the people he's sort of around. And you can start to see him. He's actually becoming friends with these people. So yeah, it's just you get a little bit more depth on this one character. But a lot more than that happens this time. So they call the I think the Shishtoran, aren't they? Leader of Shishtoran. He's basically a 14-year-old absolute psychopath as well, isn't he? Like, he rolls up, dragging one of the Bafioran blokes by his hair to the front of the building, and offers him a fight straight away outside the building. So Sakura, and oh yeah, that's it. Sakura starts to almost like sense the power and feel the power of Umamiya, because he's like, obviously he's ready to protect his family, he's ready to protect his friends, and he's like, yeah, he starts to almost feel a little bit intimidated by just his presence at this point, because obviously he's looking down and he sees obviously the Before member, and yeah, the leader is his voice is so annoying, mate. Of the Shishtoran, that little 14-year-old, his voice was going.
Tomiyamu, isn't it? Is it Tomiyamu?
Tomiyamu, yeah, I think that's his name. Yeah, it was just going through me, mate. His voice was.
It's just funny. I liked obviously he comes with his megaphone. He's like,
yeah,
that kind of thing. But then like you look behind him, it's like the bodies of these people who just battered. so Sakura's like, yeah, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's pretty decent, actually.
I like the chances against this guy.
Yeah. But yeah, they're obviously, there's a little bit of back and forth between them for a bit, isn't they? In terms of like they're trying to start a fight, and then loads of them come, and they essentially arrange like a 1v1 tournament, which they're teeing up, I think, for obviously the next episode. I'm assuming the next 1 or 2 episodes we should get a load of fights in the next couple of episodes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we've got Sakura obviously versus the second in command, who I have a feeling the second in command, I don't know, man. He seems strong. He does, Yeah. I think he might be stronger than their first in command, personally. So I think he'll give Sakura a very, very good run for his money. I do.
Yeah, I liked also that Tomiyamu guy. He explains why he wants to fight.
Yeah.
Umemiya. He says obviously he was like jealous of him because he got to the top of his clan, and he looked over at Bo Foreign's clan and he saw Yememi like laughing and enjoying his role up there, and then he wanted it for himself. So then he approaches and he wants to take essentially the crown off.
Yeah. He essentially says he's bored, doesn't he? Essentially, he's like, "Well, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like I've got to the top and now there's nothing, so I want to take your spot as well. I want to take your clan." And there's that one scene where he like turns around and there's just all the Buffiori members in all the different windows, mate. There's like hundreds of them just standing in the window, like ready to fight, mate. They're just ready to go.
Eyes like really like
proper glaring at them.
Yeah, but like you say, next episode is going to be so good. Like,
it's going to be so sick. There's a couple of other bits as well, isn't there? So obviously that tees up that, but then like, you get this really serious moment, and then it skips to Yuma and Mia just busts into that restaurant, starts showing the girl pictures of his like sprouts and like and his like vegetables. Like, look how much it's grown. Like, they're excited to show her his vegetables and that. But you get a little bit of backstory on like him and the woman at the restaurant. Turns out she's only 16. She's the same age as the main character Sakura. And they grew up in what they said was a group home, I think they called it. So I'm assuming that's like some sort of orphanage or something like that. So they don't really have any parents or anything. So they're almost like family in a way. And that's why he sees her as his little sister, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next 2 episodes, mate, or at least the next 1 episode, definitely, we should get some sick sort of like tournament arc, mate, with some top level scrapping. And I'm just hoping Cloverfield, the animators, I'm hoping they just pull out all of their stops, mate. All their budget needs to go on them fights, mate. Because the first episode, the fights were so clean in that first episode. And if they can pull off sort of like what they did in that, I think this is going to boost this anime a lot more as well, just by getting those like really slick fight scenes.
I like the change as well. Like you see it in the episode when it gets called out. You remember? He suddenly turns into that strong leader, doesn't he? He changes from this funny guy. It's like a strong leader, and then he walks out, and then Sakura's like trying to follow him. He's like, "Yo, stop there!"
He's like, "Everyone, wait, no, don't do anything." Yeah, and everyone's like in fear, almost like struck, aren't they?
But he just literally just makes a switch, and obviously this shows you why he's the leader.
You get like an idea of just, as like I say, just his presence alone is enough to like stop these like guys in the tracks because they just respect him so much.
Yeah, he switches to this like strong leader, and then obviously, like you said, back in the restaurant, it's just like funny guy.
Show pictures of his plants and stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. But yeah, these next episode or 2, it makes me. I don't know what's going to happen, but it makes me wonder if Sakura is going to even win. It might even be that he loses the fight, and it could be a good learning curve for him, because if he loses and then he still gets a lot of encouragement from his like fellow schoolmates and stuff like that, it could be a good learning curve and a growth in his sort of like personality and his character in general. So it'd be sick if he wins, though. Don't get me wrong. So we'll wait and see, because it's not a big one. I think there's only 13 episodes, so we've only got like 9 episodes left, didn't they? So there's a lot to cram into these 9 episodes, I think. So I'm excited for it.
I'm intrigued to see the other gangs as well, the other clans that come. Obviously, these are the first clan they're going to face, but
yeah, the first
clans out
yeah,
there.
I'm sure there's a slight mention of a few more clans. So I think we might see some more, and yeah, I'm excited. I think it's a good one. If anyone's listening, they're up to listening to us talk about episode 4 and they've not seen it yet, just go and watch it, man. It's really good. Like, it really is good.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's points we've not even mentioned that people will pick up on and be like, "Yeah, that's really good, that part of it."
Yeah,
we're covering the basics of it, but
just a few funny moments and a few little bits. Obviously, we've spoke about a few moments that happened in 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot more to it. But we've also been we're catching up on Kaiju as well, haven't we? Episode 3 was the latest episode. You got my notebook. Yeah, I'll let you kick this one off with your school book, matey.
Back to school.
Yeah, that's it.
What I found funny at the start of this episode is obviously from last episode where we discussed episode 2, this lady that turned up and nicked the parking spot, she smells them and goes, "You smell of kaiju," or whatever. And then they're a bit like stunned and taken back. And then while Kafka's mate's explaining why, because they work at his disposal unit, they both like the answers are pretty good, and then they both turn around, and Kafka's like lifting the car up.
He's just picking his van back up, yeah.
Yeah, there's like they're trying to do this. He does this covers for him, and he turns around. He literally just exposes himself by just lifting this car back in him.
I love it. Whilst he's
That was
lifting his van back up, that blonde girl's chauffeur just robbing his spot, number 55.
Like a casual butler just like reverses in, like thank you. But
Oh,
yeah, then
sick.
and then Kafka's mate. I've got his name somewhere. Kafka's mate. He tells him off. It's like, I'm trying to cover for you here, and it's going to be really hard. Stop trying to show your powers off straight away. It's literally like the first moments we get to the school, and you're showing off your powers.
He's just in the car
Oh,
park.
it's so funny. Yeah, literally straight away. And then obviously Kafka's like sinks into his shell a bit. He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he gets a little bit. He falls back a little bit then, doesn't he? There's a part where he's like, he's so unfit into like running and stuff, and he's so out of breath. And then he's like, "Is this what happens to your body when you're over 30?" And I just started laughing like, "That's too relatable, mate. That's too relatable."
Yeah, I must mention again. I think we mentioned it last episode, but the intro.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of like Youngblood, but I think that the intro is pretty good, decent. Like
it's really unique as well to have on an anime as well, because the actual CGI and stuff they've used, haven't they, for the intro itself is really unique as well.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like I say, it reminds me of like a James Bondy kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, them kind of intros.
Yeah, like not just the music, but the visuals go really well with it, don't they?
Yeah. So I thought that was really good. So going through the episode, we get introduced to the power suit, which I thought was really good. Let me find it in my notes. I've got too many notes here. Yeah, okay. So obviously they're having these tests, and they're given these power suits that are used by the Defense Force. So they put the suit on. It molds. They're so cool. It molds the body to the body measurements and the shape adjustment. It all goes nicely, and we find out that the suit is organic material taken from kaiju, so it makes the wearer his strength multiply, which is awesome. And then, but I'll let you carry on.
Their strength multiplies by whatever the battle power or whatever they read off of the person. Yeah. So like this little blonde girl gets like 40% of her power, and like everyone's like, "Oh, I've only got 6, or I've only got whatever. I've got 8," and it's like 8's like a good percentage apparently, and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're under 8, because you can still got the potential then to like boost it through the training, and as soon as you get to 8 and plus, you're good to go basically. And that guy who's there is like the vice captain guy. He must be designed off Dracula, mate. Like he's got like a similar Dracula hairstyle. He's got fangs and everything, hasn't he? He looks like Dracula, dead bad, mate. And he starts laughing at Kafka because Kafka's combat power is like 0.
It gives you a bit of backstory before, because Kafka's mate, which is Ichikawa, I think it is. He mentions he talks about all the students as they're sitting in the yard, like what, and obviously you've got all these like tall dudes, all different kinds from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Is it Shinomiya? Is the girl?
She's the blonde girl.
He explains that she's like the top of her class, and she's like this young talent basically. So we can see why she got like 40.
Yeah, she's like one to watch type thing.
Yeah.
I did wonder though at first. I don't know if I'm overlooking it, like looking too far into it, but she was wearing that red power suit in the car park. I'm wondering if she was wearing that underneath the other power suit, and it's like boosted her a bit. But
like a cheat.
Yeah, like almost like a hack. But when you start seeing her in action, she definitely knows what she's doing, doesn't she? Like she's sick.
Oh yeah, because it goes to the battle scene, which is the final test where they have to fight kaiju have been captured. And she's literally like running at walls and stuff. And I was like,
she's so sick.
On time here, or I'm watching.
Yeah, it makes me laugh when Kafka's reading 0, and the Dracula guy, he's like starts laughing at him because Kafka's like, ah! And he just goes, "You're not taking his shit. It's not like you can push it out."
Yes,
just proper laughing his head off at him. But then Kafka sort of adapts though. Like I don't know if he can use his kaiju power or if he chooses not to use his kaiju power. I'm not 100% sure because I feel like if he used his kaiju power, its reading might actually be too high and he might become more suspicious or get more suspicion towards him.
Yeah.
But he sort of adapts and he basically becomes what's sort of like a support character, really, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So because he's obviously cleaned up all these monsters through like years and years, he knows a lot of them like inside out and where the weaknesses are. And he starts telling people like, "Oh, you need to aim at the stomach. The stomach's the weak part." And he's like distracting them while other people get the stomachs. So he sort of like adapts to his situation a little bit, and he's obviously like throws that stun grenade at that one, doesn't he? He's like, "Oh, they can't see, but they've got really, really like good hearing." So like stun grenades just like absolutely like cripple them type thing. And so he gets a little bit of advantage on some of them, and he can, as I say, help a lot of the people out who've got high combat power, but they haven't got necessarily the kaiju IQ, so he can help them out that way. That's obviously, I feel like, going to give him a few more points.
Yeah, and I thought the bit was good where as soon as they start, the announcer announces that Ashiro, his childhood friend, is watching.
Yeah,
so kind of spurs him on. It's like, right, this is it. This is my chance to
show
get to her level,
show him what I'm worth. Like,
her.
This is it now.
Yeah.
And then obviously he gets smacked by that kaiju, doesn't he? And they go to deploy the shield. And obviously, what happens if they deploy the shield? You're out. Then that's it. You can't pass. You've failed straight away. And essentially, the kaiju gets destroyed by the blonde girl, who obviously at this point you know she's just absolutely sick at what she's doing. Like she's not messing about. Yeah. But yeah, obviously, because the kaiju then gets destroyed, they don't deploy his shield, and then his combat power goes up, doesn't it? Like 0.01% combat power, mate. He starts progressing. What a legend!
I thought a good bit as well. When obviously he's got that 0% power.
Yeah.
And then that Shinomiya, she thinks herself like, "I've seen your power. You know, why are you holding back?" kind of thing.
Yeah, like I've literally watched you pick a van up, mate. Like, what are you doing?
Pick up the company van. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm really loving the show. I think it's really good. I'm intrigued to see where it goes, and I'm really, it makes me laugh every episode I watch.
Yeah, it's so good. It is good.
And enjoying the action. Yeah,
really enjoying it. Same as well. It's one of the more light-hearted ones. To be fair, Windbreaker is pretty light-hearted as well. I'm having they're both two. We've picked two shows that really are very tailored to like our personalities, I think, and what we sort of enjoy. So we've accidentally like picked two animes that could be sort of like some of our favourite animes we've ever watched, sort of thing. So we've done a good job, and obviously they've done a good job as well at making them. So yeah, it's definitely some enjoyable watching at the moment.
I've started another anime show.
I've
mentioned it. So for a while now, I've been wanting to watch an anime about football. So I found an anime show called Blue Lock. You may have heard of it.
Soccer for you Americans.
Yeah. But football's a real name of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so it's about these high school football players get brought together, strikers in the position from across all Japan. There's somebody invited to partake in this controversial project to create the best and most egotistical striker in the world. So by passing this test, then you play in the World Cup for Japan and hopefully win World Cup gold. Because the leader of this controversial project, he realizes how Japan in the World Cup they do well, but they don't get very far.
Yeah.
So they want to create this like super striker for the likes of Katanas, Pele, and people like that to obviously go into the World Cup and win some gold for Japan. So this is what this show's all about. I've watched one episode so far. There's 24 episodes in the whole season. It's 8.2 on IMDb, 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's available on Hulu. So
it's gonna be a good one, then.
Enjoy.
How many episodes is it?
It's 24 episodes altogether.
Oh, that's nice. Nice length.
But I watched the first episode. I watched the first episode. I'm enjoying it, so I'm gonna proceed with that. Have you got any other anime you're watching?
No. So I watched one episode of one called RE Monster. I didn't take I took no notes at all. I think I put a couple of bits in our Discord about it for like anyone who was interested. And it's essentially from memory what I can remember. I watched it about 2 weeks ago now. Basically, this guy gets reincarnated as a goblin, and he starts off essentially from like day one as him being born as a goblin, and he's like a legit baby at the start, and it goes through like different days. And the way it's structured reminds me of those like Minecraft videos, like spending 100 days in hardcore Minecraft. Day one, we went mining, we found some stone for a pickaxe and built a house. It's sort of like that. It's like on day one we did this, on day two we did this, on day 13 we did this. But yeah, it looks like it's just like a little light-hearted sort of random anime. To be fair, there's nothing too dramatic that happened in the first episode, but I think there's like four or so episodes out. It does seem like a little sort of like a RPG style anime, so I'm probably going to pick that up for a bit as well. I'll probably talk a bit more depth next week in that because I'll watch a few more episodes, I think.
Yeah.
And then I've been looking at another one called Go Go Loser Ranger, which we mentioned on the spring list. Mate, I've looked at a few clips from that. I've seen a few clips on like shorts and stuff. It looks sick, mate. So I'm gonna give that a go as well. So I'll start watching that sort of like this week. So I'll pick that up as well, and see how I get on, and I'll let you know what it's like.
So my anime list at the moment is ridiculous.
It's infinite, mate. It's infinite. I'm still watching MHA as well. I'm still getting into My Hero Academia. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in that at the moment in season 4, which I'm on, which is like episode sort of. I think it's maybe like episode 70 something, maybe, or something I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm on
episode, I think I'm on season 4, episode 2, which is, I think it's not far from, probably 2 episodes.
I think I'm literally like, 2 or 3 episodes beyond you, like. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening in that, so I'm picking that up at the moment. The only issue is I've fallen behind a little bit on that, because as people know from last week's episode, we did a lot of Shogun, mate. Like, I literally binge watched the entirety of Shogun, and then we've only recently watched episode 10 of Shogun. So I don't know if you want to have a chat about that.
Yeah, just to let the viewers know, we'll be talking about Shogun episode 10, so this is spoilers.
Heavy spoilers, mate. As always, heavy spoilers, mate.
But yeah, if you want to kick it off, mate.
Yeah, so this one was a bit random. In terms of, it started like in the future, and it's obviously, the future starts, it's like Blackthorn as an old man in bed, and his grandchildren are looking at his samurai swords that are like on display and everything, and then he flashes back to the explosion, and obviously from the last episode, and he has basically Mariko in his arms, and he does this really emotional like scream, and then he starts praying for her, and essentially, obviously, she's died, so she's been hit by this explosion. She's passed away. He's absolutely in bits because of it, because they've just spent a passionate night together, and all this stuff's happened. And he thinks, we're finally gonna be able to move forward. Yabu Shiga, the guy we don't trust and nobody trusts, starts saying, "Forgive me," and he has this realization that actually he's actually quite a bad person, and he's sort of helped instrument a lot of this like pain, and I think he starts to have a little bit of regret about what he's done. Obviously, at this point, it's just too late. So, he is an arsehole, to be fair. No one likes him.
He goes to see
Toranaga, doesn't he?
Toranaga, I forgot his name.
Yeah, he's on that island chilling near a lake, isn't he? Just like absolutely just living his life, mate.
He goes to see him, and he goes, obviously trying to get out of what he's done.
Yeah, trying to plead with him, isn't he?
Like, tell us all about take your own life,
Yeah, by the end of like whatever day, because they always give you a certain amount of time, don't they? Yeah, like before dawn.
Yeah. You
got to commit Senpoku.
Yeah.
And I'll get onto that.
Episode...
I'll get onto that in a bit.
I thought the episode was good in general, but it was definitely underwhelming.
Yeah, there's a lot of underwhelming parts. So like there's a lot that happens as well. I think the best way I can describe this episode is that it's more of like an art of war type thing rather than an actual war, if that makes sense. So like it's about being smart about war in general, instead of creating a massive battle to get loads of people killed, it's about smart things you can do to minimise the casualties, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, they have that council meeting and the discussion how unsafe Osaka Castle or Osaka is now. And some of them are almost in the process, basically, because of Mariko's death being unneeded, so they think, and obviously they blame Ishido and that sort of stuff. A lot of them are sort of starting to second guess Ishido at this point, and Ishido's essentially trying to disrespect Mariko, even though it's not like, what's her name, Achiba, isn't it? She interjects him by saying, "Oh, she should be honoured. Like, you can't be disrespecting the name, mate. Like, don't best stop throwing shade off my mate now, mate. Because I'm swear to God, like,
Basically, that's like the translation.
that is literally the English version of that translation."
We should
Yeah.
do like a, we should do a show, but we translate it our way.
Yeah, like the UK way.
Back off, bitch.
Yeah, so he's basically trying to disrespect her, and Ichibo interjects him, like I say, which basically saying, no, she should be honoured. And Ishido's acting like he's sort of like a protector in the realm. It just makes me mad, mate, because I hate him. Like, he literally don't care about anyone. He only cares about himself. He's come from nothing. He is nothing. And he's trying to use Achiba now to try and, like, gain some strength in sort of like the realm and in Japan. And I just don't like him, mate. At this point, I just hate him, and I never will like him. He's just a horrible character. Yeah. If I was there, mate, I'd literally risk it all to end him. I would 100%. Like, I'd be in there, mate, fighting him.
Put the ninja outfit on and be like...
Oh, 100%, mate. I'd get Red Hood helmet on, mate.
But the thing is, like, with shows like that, same with, like, Game of Thrones, like, if you hate a baddie, like Joffrey from Game of Thrones...
They've done a good job, haven't they?
They've done a good job. And when... Okay, we're going on to Game of Thrones, we're going off point a bit, but that Joffrey, when he left the show, people, like, you know, we hated you. You know, you did an amazing job. And the same with that Ishida guy, like, he's played a character and he played it well, and obviously everyone people hate him.
Yeah.
They think he's disgusting. So he's done his job well.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
a great character.
The actor, you have absolute utter respect for the actor when they do such a good job doing that. But yeah, we find out that Yabu Shiga was part of the plan 100%. He thought she was only going to be captured and not actually killed, but obviously it's too late now. I actually wrote down him, Yashiga, and Ishido are in my death note. That's literally what I've put down here, mate.
How did they die then?
Oh no!
I have an interesting death.
Oh yeah. It's got to be something cool, hasn't it?
Like a bowel explosion or...
Oh yeah, ninja star through the Jap's eye or something.
Crap out the mouth.
Crap out the mouth. Like Ron Weasley, mate, when he has to throw them slugs up, mate. Yabu Shiga, he's lost his head, hasn't he, at this point, though? Like, he's like an absolute, like, blibbering idiot. Like, you can tell it's really took over his brain, and he's falling to bits. He's talking to himself. He's talking about bad omens. He's seen invisible catfish in a pond, which is mad. And they're like, everyone's like, mate, there's no catfish in that pond. What are you doing? Like,
how about that? I think it's before he dies, he like does that death poem. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, what on earth is he on about?
Oh yeah, his will.
Really dumb, like, yeah.
I've seen loads of memes about that, mate. Dead funny. But yeah, at this point, Blackthorn wakes up. I assume he's been in sort of some mini coma or something because he's been out cold and he's missed Mariko's funeral. He's been invited to join Toranaga again. He gets given the note, but some cool dude with a cool red outfit on gives it him. And I was like, mate, his outfit looks sick. This is like cool samurai guy. It looks proper cool. The Catholic guy essentially spares Blackthorn and keeps his word. Still don't like him though. His hair's stupid. But yeah, he basically says, look, he's been asked to spare him essentially, and he's kept his word and he has spared Blackthorn, and he's taken Blackthorn to Toranaga. You have this really, like, you get to this really emotional scene where Blackthorn is on the boat and he just starts crying, mate, like really crying. Like, he's obviously really overwhelmed by everything. He's really upset, and yeah, it's quite a heart wrenching scene. I don't really like him that much as a character, to be fair, but obviously he's been through a lot, and you can, as a human being, you sort of start to feel what that's sort of like, and you do understand where we don't understand what it's like, because obviously not been through as much as him, because he's absolute mental in it, what they've been through. But yeah, obviously you do feel for him. Achiba is trying to honour Mariko. She uses the line in the last episode of her poem about the leafless branch, and she basically makes a poem, and to try and honour her, she finishes the poem. Yabushiga at this point still going mad. I can only assume his guilt at this point. He's on a ship and then finds Blackthorn's ship ruined and sunken. Toranaga knows obviously Yabushiga is dishonourable. They seize him, take his swords, and then, like we mentioned earlier, he says, "Look, you're gonna have to commit seppuku, mate. Like, you're mental, essentially. Yeah. Like, you've lost your head. You're dishonourable. You're a grass. Snitches get stitches. That sort of thing." And they have this sort of like what's it called? Bit of a chat, don't they, on top of that cliffside?
Yeah, a bit like a hot to hot. Well,
yeah,
there was a point of that in that I was like, why is he telling him all this stuff?
Yeah,
him,
so he starts telling him about stuff, and then obviously they're walking through, and there's a head on boards of like there's loads of heads on these boards from like what they assume are traitors. So Toranaga's got people searching around for traitors to see who sunk his ship. It's absolutely barbaric, to be fair. It's another like one really gruesome like thing that happened back then. And basically Yabushiga was actually spotted letting the shinobi into Toranaga's property. Obviously 4 or 5 episodes ago. So he's done for, mate. He's absolutely done for. He's got to commit seppuku by the end of tomorrow, and then Toranaga randomly meets his new son, even though Toranaga's about 807 years old, mate. Like, what you doing procreating, mate? Like,
yeah, it says like, the woman's like, "Oh, sorry about your son." It's like, "Don't worry, mate. I've got another one." Like,
yeah, that's what makes me laugh, mate. He talks about the loss. And the woman's like, "We still mourn Nagako," and she just goes, "Yeah, but it's all right because I've got more sons, isn't it?" Like...
yeah, the guy is in the rock, but I've got this baby here.
I've got loads of kids, mate.
Don't worry about it.
And then obviously Toranaga gets a letter then from Lady Achiba, who's essentially wrote a secret letter to him, which at first I thought was essentially the poem, which I think it was part of the poem that she wrote to honour Mariko. But you find out essentially that she's said that if there is a battle, I will not serve Ishido. So essentially the battle's already won because Ishido's got no army. Like, he's got nobody now because he had her army essentially, because she's got her son is the heir, isn't he? So he's done for, basically, Ishido is. So he gets obviously that bit of good news. Blackthorn's useless still in terms of ability, but he just wants to stop the bloodshed, and he's trying his best. Really, he don't want any more deaths, to be fair, and you can only respect it. So it cuts to him being old again, randomly, and he's minging, mate. He looks so gross, doesn't he, as an old man? Like, he proper is gross as an old man.
I thought it was like a woman at first. I was like, "What's this?" And it turns out it's Blackthorn. I was like,
yeah.
I
was like, what is he doing? But he actually tries to kill himself, doesn't he? But he gets stopped. Toranaga stops him, slaps him, and then basically asks him to build a fleet of ships. Like, you're not killing yourself, mate. You're going to build me some ships. Toranaga knew about the ship and was in on it. That was like a massive plot twist, mate. Yeah. Turns out it's him. And the letter, obviously, I mentioned, is to say that the heir's army isn't going to be on the battlefield, or at least it's not going to be on Ishido's side, because it turns out she also hates him. So he's got no mates. One of my notes was put is R.I.P. Yabushiga, head and body straight off the cliff edge. So he obviously commits seppuku. He gets his head clean chopped off, and then his head and body just roll off the end of the cliff, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I like that scene because he's telling him all this stuff of the future, and then he
Yeah,
gets to a point where he's like, "Well, what about this?" And he's like, "What's the point of telling the future to a dead man?" And he gets his sword out, doesn't he?
yeah.
And puts
So
it on his neck.
one of the lines as well, where he's like, "So I sent a woman to do what an army cannot." That was a sick line. That was, to be fair.
Yeah.
So basically, Mariko he's basically, because it's Japan and the samurai way and all the stuff. There's so much honor involved. Mariko, I think she knew she was going to die, so he's essentially let her honor her samurai clan and her family by sort of like doing this one last mission type thing.
Make the sacrifice.
Yeah, so she's essentially sacrificed herself so she can die with honor, to honor her samurai clan, obviously her dad and all this lot. And yeah, so that was quite nice actually. So that's essentially what it's like, and they're trying to get the boat out of the water, and they're still arguing. He calls them a snivelling, festering. He shouts, "Snivelling, festering shitbags." And that Miraji bloke who's translated is like, "Dude, no, best not translate that. Don't translate that, mate. Keep that one to just us."
I like the bit as well in the episode. It's like that spy, the guy,
Yeah.
he's like translating now. Suddenly can speak English. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I can translate English. What? You've been here all
Oh, it's
along.
because he was his spy, wasn't he? That's why.
Yeah.
So he was trying to. He basically wasn't gonna let people know he could speak English because it'd give it away. So
it's funny how that it just comes out like, yeah, I can speak English.
Yeah, it was like, what, you want me to translate for you? Like, does he know? And then he obviously has to tell Blackthorn about who he is. Like, oh look, I'm a spy, blah blah, this and this. And I think he goes, at least you're not Catholic or something like that, or at least you're not Christian or something. I can't remember what he says. But then Mariko's husband comes over and he starts helping them, doesn't he? And they have this like little bit of a bonding moment, gives him some water and stuff. Because they finally get the shit pot out of the water. And then it just sort of like ends at that point. And yeah, so Toranaga saying that he's essentially already won. It was quite underwhelming, really, because you kind of did want, after you've seen all the cannon fire stuff and that, you kind of wanted this like sort of like a bit of a big battle. I understand from a monologue point of view, they didn't necessarily need to show a big battle because that was essentially the future. And like he's telling Yabushiga, sort of like, there's no point talking to speaking of the future to a dead man or something. He says, which is what some Yabushiga actually says in one of the earlier episodes as well. To his nephew, but yeah, I've wrote quite a lot of notes about the ending. To be fair, so there was no battle. Assuming they didn't need to show a battle, Blackthorn was spared essentially because Mariko had made an agreement with the Catholics that, look, if you spare him, we'll sink his ship. So for Toranaga and Mariko to keep Blackthorn alive, they had to sink his ship, but then they had to make it believable. Hence why Toranaga was just beheading people for banter, really, wasn't he? Like, just for a laugh, essentially.
For a laugh,
yeah. So, it's essentially, yeah. So he's done it to almost test Blackthorn's loyalty as well, and obviously Blackthorn passes the loyalty test. And Blackthorn flirted with Fuji a little bit, didn't he? She was like, "Now I'm gonna be a nun, mate." Got friend zoned straight away, didn't he?
Yeah, I put a block on that.
I put Blackthorn flirted with Fuji, got friend zoned, no pillowing for him. But yeah, she was like,
Fuji, good character, isn't she?
yeah, she was, to be fair. She's like, now I'm going to be a nun now, mate. I've been relieved of you. Like, it was the duty of being your consort or whatever they called, and she's essentially done what she needed to do. But yeah, before he's obviously deaf, he explained that Crimson Sky was done essentially by the death of Mariko. That was Crimson Sky. And then the day of the battle, because Lady Chiba secretly sent that message saying that, confirming her allegiance essentially to him, without the heir's army, Shido will have no banner, nothing. The other guys, is it Kiyama and Ono or whatever, they'll be on Toranaga's side anyway, which means winning the war. He's won the war without an actual war. And then I literally wrote art of war type of thing. So like, very articulate, I know, but that's sort of like how it ended. It's more of like an
Yeah,
art of war type story, but for a visual sort of like bloke like me, you kind of wanted to see a massive battle, didn't you? Let's be honest.
yeah, like obviously you love the film like Last Samurai and stuff, and you're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
at the
it.
end it's gonna be a massive battle, and
Like a
then
great
I mean
battle, yeah.
it's underwhelming. I thought the ending was good, but it was just so underwhelming, and I mean I thought it was well written, and
It's
how it ended was
very,
good.
very well
Yeah,
written. And you wouldn't.
but
It's not that it was. You understand it. Don't get me wrong. You really do understand it. But I kind of just wanted that little bit more from it. So I think I rated it an 8.5 out of 10 show in total, which I think is quite a fair score because there was a couple of spots that were hit and miss throughout the show. But overall, it was really enjoyable show. Very good show. But yeah, I've rated it an 8.5 out of 10 in total for anyone that cares.
yeah, I mean I think it's a good rating. That I think I'm similar. That like I say, some episodes are a bit, some bits that you didn't really have in,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
overall you can tell it's been taken from a book and it's well written. The monologue's really good. The scenes are really good.
Oh yeah, the
The story's really
visuals.
good.
Like
And
I can't praise the set enough. I mentioned it last podcast multiple times. It's just so good. Like everything about it in terms of like the scenery. To say it wasn't even filmed in Japan, that was the crazy part. The costumes, everything was so pretty. It was really really well done.
I saw on Facebook as well. Like some of the Japanese actors in it are literally like new to the scene of acting, and they did such a good job. Like
Oh yeah,
how they portrayed the characters was so good.
yeah. Even the extras were like doing a good job, mate. Like the little gardener and stuff like that. They're all just like such good parts, just piecing it all together.
R.I.P. Gardner.
He was a
Going back,
legend, mate. My favourite character he was.
going back to the priest's haircut. So you wouldn't get a picture of it and take it to the barber's like, can I have this haircut,
Can I have
sir?
this trim, mate? To be fair, if you're paying for that haircut, you can just do it yourself at home easy, couldn't you?
It's got to be like a £5 job on it.
It's got to be
£5.
minimum, mate. It's going to be a minimum £5 job. It depends if you want it fading into the rest of it from the middle.
Yeah, it's like, can I just have a big bowl patch just on the top of my head and then have this like, I don't know, I don't know what it is. I don't
It's
know.
like the reverse
Yeah.
bowl, isn't it? What's
Yeah.
this haircut's called? It's called the plate.
I don't think it'll catch on though. I don't think it'll.
Yeah, I don't think it did, mate. If I'm deadly honest with you.
He's the only guy in the show who's got it.
Yeah, I don't think it caught on at all, to be honest with you,
He thought
pal.
these Japanese would be like, yeah, they'll all adopt this hairstyle. None of them didn't want it. So
So,
got another show, won't we? That we're gonna be
Fallout,
watching. Yeah, man.
2 episodes.
What a show.
Episode 2 and 3 is what we've been into.
And the notes I've got for this. Whew.
So, do you want to kick it off then, episode 2?
Yeah, okay. So the episode starts off with Wilzig, which is a scientist. He's working in a lab. So they're working on dogs, aren't they? Like
Yeah,
working on
there's
combat
all them,
dogs.
mate, them little tiny dogs, mate, that have just been thrown into fires and that.
Yeah, like they're trying to get the best of the best of these dogs. I'm assuming they do all the stuff at
Yeah,
this
I'm
lab.
assuming, obviously, because it's the end of the world, that sort of thing, they're probably just the only way they can try and rebreed them, sort of thing.
Yeah. So so he takes a liking to this one dog. He takes it back to his room. I can't remember what the code was on its neck, but anyway, it's got all this information, all this secret information on him. He injects some into his neck on a chip, I believe.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
then
got from it.
yeah, and then one of this other scientists come to the room and they're like, "What's all this?" Like they find all this like it must be like research or whatever.
Sees the dog as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, all this secret information, and then obviously the dog then attacks this intruder, rips his neck or whatever he does. And then when they were escaping, I found that the turret that comes up.
Yeah.
It made me download Fort. I've literally downloaded Fallout now on the Xbox because I was just like it just reminded me. I was like flipping it. I missed them.
That turret was
Yeah,
awful though, mate. They was running at literally 1 miles per hour, mate. And it didn't even touch him.
yeah, they're like someone's calibrated wrong or something.
Yeah, it's definitely wrong,
Missed every
isn't it?
shot.
It's like a
Yeah,
cross-eyed turret or something.
yeah, but then obviously it flicks to it when Lucy's obviously she's come out of the vault. She's in this big new world. She's walking around, and then a tumbleweed rolls past, and she thinks she gets scared, doesn't she? Because she thinks it's like a creature or something.
Yeah,
Which you would, which you would do.
yeah.
Yeah, it sees like a few things like destroyed robots. A grim scene where she enters a house. And
Oh, mate, that part was mad.
yeah, and there's like a family at a dinner table. They had cyanide. They had.
Yeah,
There's
the
like a
poison or
bottle on the
something.
table.
Yeah, something, wasn't there?
It's like a parent and a baby in it, and it's like
Just
uh,
corpses. Yeah.
yeah, like a baby chair.
Yeah, I
Which
wonder if
is
they're like if they've been there for 260 odd years then, or what? Because it's
yeah,
I'm assuming they are, but it's almost like they've poisoned themselves to avoid the blast. I'm assuming.
yeah, because literally like the world outside the vaults has gone to crap basically.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought, you know what, sod this. Let's have a bit of this banana tasting cyanide and see what happens. But anyway, it flicks to she goes to sleep. She wakes up and I've put Benjamin Linus because that's the guy from Lost. But it's Wilzig and his dog are there, and then a massive cockroach approaches, isn't it? And the dog kind of saves her. And then this Wilzig explains how cockroaches survive the nukes, and now they're bigger and stronger. And this cockroach that the dog
Oh,
gets
it's a
is
beast, isn't it?
huge, isn't it? And then obviously he explains that the cockroaches now are bigger and stronger, and they've got better talents for hunting. I'd
Yeah,
say.
They've started working together to
Yeah,
attack bigger prey.
yeah. Did you wanna add a few bits?
Yeah, I've literally my main note literally says I think I love the dog. Like,
It's a good dog.
yeah, dog's a sick mate.
Loyal
He's
dog.
such a good boy, isn't he? He's such a good boy. But yeah, like he's warning her and stuff. He's a bit creepy at the start, isn't he? But you can tell he's trying to he is trying to help her. And then obviously you get that scene where the Maximus is with the Lord Titus, and he makes him clean his
Yeah.
crotch plate. That made me laugh. It's like clean
You know,
this.
at first I thought it was like he took a cup out or something. He's like cut for drinking
Yeah,
and passed it. And then I watched it again. And I was like, what on earth?
literally his crotch
Clean.
plate.
It's like so disrespectful, is like clean this. Because like Max was trying to be his friend, didn't he? He's a squire. He's like trying to be his mate.
Yeah.
That ties us into a knobhead, didn't he? So he's like,
Oh, he's just an arsehole, isn't he? He's a horrible bloke.
as the episode goes on, you find out why he's in as a knobhead. But go back
Yeah.
to the little campfire scene with Wilzig and Lucy.
Lucy.
He says that basically it's a different world out here. You need to adapt.
Yeah, you've got to
You need to
adapt or go home.
you need to adapt because there's no laws out here. There's no rules. Because in the vault there's rules. They're brought up in the right way, and now they're in this new world. They've got to adapt to the
It's
new
lawless
rules.
society, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah. And it says, looking for your dad, you could change your opinion of, obviously, with all this lawless world now.
Of life in general.
Yeah, things might change and you might not be bothered about, well, not bothered about your dad, but you might have other things that you want to do as well on the road to getting your dad. So, but that Titus and Maximus scenes through this.
Yeah, the one where Maximus accidentally headbutts her and nearly knocks himself out.
Yeah, because it's when they're getting out of the helicopter, isn't it?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
like, has to hold on to him, and he's like, and they like jump out of this helicopter, will propel down.
The size of that bag as well, mate. He looks like a year 7 in school. Like, it's such a big bag on a little, like, on the bloke, mate.
That's just his packed lunch, isn't it?
Yeah, just his dinner in it, mate. But yeah, the power dude armor guy, Titus, you find out he's essentially just a massive wimp. He sends Maximus into that cave, doesn't he? Check for some baddies.
Yeah,
Even though he's got a massive gun, man. Like,
yeah, because they see they're outside the cave, don't they? And they see like bones.
yeah, loads of bones.
And they see like dog food and like clothing, and they're like, oh, the real.
Yeah, that cram or whatever it was. Like, I'm assuming it's like a knockoff
Yeah.
spam, isn't it?
Yeah. Dog loves it though.
Yeah, dog's mad for it.
Dog eats everything in that show, man.
He's sick, to be fair. He's
yeah.
immune to everything, isn't he?
Yeah, so they go in this cave and it's definitely a creature now, we know. So we go in this cave and then Titus points to Maximus like, right, you go and check out that area.
Yeah, check if they're in there.
And then Maximus is like, well, you've got like the big armor, you've got the big gun. What? I'm not, you're better prepared. And the guy goes like, no, if you want to earn your place in the power suit,
Yeah, you've got to prove your bravery.
For acts of bravery, yeah. So anyway, he goes ahead, looking around. Then toxic bear approaches, doesn't it, from behind.
Mate, that bear is jacked as well, isn't he? He's so muscly, that bear is.
Yeah. But do you want to explain the fight?
Essentially, the bear comes up, absolutely ruins his gun, and the power armor, Titus, the power armor guy, he starts trying to run off and he trips and smashes his head on a rock. And then he starts getting pulled around by the bear and is just shouting.
He's like, help me.
Yeah, he's like, help me. So he obviously, Maximus, I think he shoots the bear, doesn't he?
In the head, yeah.
Yeah, in the head, kills the bear. And the bear's basically like on Titus. And he opens himself up like there's a suit up, essentially, like, oh, I need a stim pack. I mean, if it was me, I'd have literally like shot him clean in the head, mate, as soon as his helmet was off. Because like he's such a wimp. Like, he doesn't deserve any sort of like power or anything, mate. Like, he's not a nice person. He's just like, yeah, just the lowest of the low type of bloke, really, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's like saying like, oh, it's your fault the bear came out and attacked me. You failed as like a squire. You'll be hanged.
Yeah, it's just been dead horrible to Maximus. And then Maximus actually plucks up a bit of courage, doesn't he, and starts saying, like, no, you don't deserve to wear that armour. Like,
yeah, because he has a flashback, doesn't he? He has a flashback to when he was a kid and how, like, glorious.
Yeah, no, he was saved by one. Yeah. It was like, you don't deserve to wear that armour, which he doesn't, to be fair, as well. I'm completely on his side. Yeah, so he essentially takes the armor.
I like the next scene when Lucy's obviously walking through the wasteland again.
Mate, that dude in the pants and the cowboy boots. That's just me on a Sunday morning on the decking on the back garden, mate. That is.
But he's a legend. He's fixing his water tap and he goes, "Can I have some water?" And obviously Lucy gives the water bottle. And he literally just downs the entire bottle of water. And he's like, I keep putting more sand in it, but all I keep getting is sand. And she's like, have you tried putting water in it? He's like, oh, right. Yeah, it's a bit of a div, but then he
shoots a shot.
It's like over that horizon, that's Philly. My dad died there. Everyone in my family.
My uncle's died there. Everyone's died there. That's why I'm not going.
Yeah. And then he goes, but what you could do, you could start a family with me. And live here.
Shoots his shot, doesn't he?
House.
He's like, just come and live with me. Just come and move in. We can start a family. Gotta respect him, really, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, you would do, wouldn't you? If you were in his position, you'd be like, take the chance, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Then it cuts to Maximus in that armor again. And the only thing I could think of was, why is he not taking that big bag with him? Because it's got a stim pack in it, it's got like repairs in it, it's got like extra bits and bobs in it. It'd have made more sense for him to take that big bag with him in that armor, because it'd been so easy to carry.
Yeah, it's I like the bit where he's trying the armor out and he like gets a rock and just fucking hurls it, and it just goes miles and it lands in the water, fucking miles away.
And then he kicks that other one.
Rock. Yeah, it ruins like a whole
blows a building up, doesn't it? Like. And then there's them two guys fighting, and he grabs one by the head, like, "No, you leave him alone, let him go." And that guy's like, "You, sir, are a scholar," and he's like, runs off, and he's like, "He was having sex with my chickens, man." Like,
and that scene made me laugh because it zooms in on the chicken's face.
The chicken's like, proper sicko, mate. He just runs off.
You are a scholar. So, yeah. He was funny.
Proper character, he is, isn't he?
Yeah. Dodgy bloke.
Yeah, proper made me laugh, that did.
But all the scenes so far in the show, like I say, it makes me want to get on for like literally like all the other presented, just
Yeah,
so well written. Obviously,
yeah.
Jonathan Nolan's done a good job there.
When they got to Philly as well, it reminded me. There's like a old UK TV show called The Tribe. I don't know why. For some reason, it just reminded me of that show. If you've never heard of that show, Google it. It's called The Tribe. It's not. Don't mistake it with the American show called Tribes. It's like some proper
Yeah.
next Channel 5 TV show from like the 90s or something. Also, the ghoul
So,
reminds me of a bit of Cad Bane from Star Wars. Like, he's very
oh
much
yeah,
that sort of same sort of character, isn't he? Like
mm.
a cowboy type character. So sick design, to be fair.
He is one of my favorite characters in the show.
Yeah, he's so good.
But yeah, so Lucy gets to this the town of Philly. It's like fights everywhere. It's like the Wild West. Fights everywhere. People fighting. There's a two-headed car walks past. But it's literally just mayhem in the town. That's really dodgy. She goes to a shopkeeper.
Who's dead
She
sassy.
sees, yeah, so she sees loads of Vault Tech stuff in this shop. She's like, "Oh, you must be dealing with criminals." And then she asks about, is it Moldova, the one who
Yeah,
took her dad?
Moldova, yeah.
And she's like, "No, shut up, get out of the shop."
Yeah.
Talking about her, it's dangerous or whatever. And she summons the other guy. I don't know who the guy was again. He was like her husband or something. Some like little weedy guy in the back of the shop. Like,
Oh,
come
that
on,
was.
look
I
at
think that's her mum, you know.
this.
I think it's a woman. Yeah, I think it's like a dead
Is
old
it?
woman or something. Yeah.
I thought it was.
I could be mistaken. I'm sure she sounded like Margie or something at her or something.
No, that's later on, wasn't it, Margie?
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
It's like some old dude in the back. But yeah, then it goes into the part where Lucy explains how she was brought up as a Vault Dweller and what they believe in. They believe
Yeah,
that
well,
they're there to save America, essentially. But then the shopkeeper stops her in her tracks, like, no, Vault Dwellers are just rich people who hid away in the vaults.
yeah, they got
all
to
this
hide
nukes.
away because they had loads of money.
Yeah, and obviously the world was destroyed by nukes. And it's pretty much told us to get lost with the shotgun on the
Yeah.
on the on the shop counter. But yeah, and then the big scene after that.
Yeah, it took me off guard when the ghoul blew Doc's foot clean off, to be fair, there. And I was like, what the hell? Blew his foot straight off, mate. The gun he has is so sick, though.
Yeah,
He's having them scraps and like having the slow-mo bullets and like blows that guy's head clean off and stuff. So graphic.
yeah. The slow mo like shots reminded me, the VATs off like the actual game. Where,
Yeah.
like, you pick the body part and you could literally like say like 90% or whatever chance of hitting and stuff. That reminded me of the VATs of the game. So
Yeah,
we have
it's
this
proper
cool
cool.
battle. We have this cool battle in Philly where the ghoul's after Wilzig because there's so many bounties on him at this point. And the shopkeeper, she's got another deal where she's taking the Wilzig to safety. But obviously, the whole town then she offers the whole town money to kill the ghoul, and obviously all these people start shooting at the ghoul, and it literally kills so many people. There's so much blood and guts
Just
everywhere.
everyone, mate. Literally everyone.
I like that bit as well where he's eating the tomatoes, and he shoots one in the neck, but he's like sitting behind this he's sitting against this like stall or whatever, and he comes over, he's eating them, and he sits down because he gets shot a couple of times, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He sits down, he's like, "I'd offer you one of these tomatoes, but you got a hole in your
You've got a hole in your neck. I was absolutely fuming when the ghoul stabbed the dog, though. Can't be doing that, mate.
Yeah.
I've put,
Yes.
can't be doing that. He needs to be stopped ASAP. Then Maximus rolls up, doesn't he? Well, that was pretty sick, to be fair. His little like landing and stuff coming in. But he is useless with that gun, isn't he? Like, he's so crap, mate.
Yeah, he's obviously still learning and stuff, but
Yeah.
his heart's in the right place. And he has a moment, doesn't he? Because the ghoul shoots at Lucy, and then obviously he saves Lucy.
Yeah, it was like a proper hero
Nice.
moment.
Yeah, there's this moment in the and they start smiling at each other and stuff. So kind of something's going to happen there.
Flirting a bit, aren't they?
Yeah, in the midst of battle, it's flirting with each other.
It's casual, isn't it, mate? Casual. Also, that woman's trying to help her Doc out. She brings out that box of Jim's limbs. Gives her that
Yeah,
massive metal foot.
and that's the woman who's on about, the old woman, isn't it?
Yeah,
Lucy,
that's it. Sorry, yeah, that's it. The old woman
yeah,
brings out that Jim's limbs box.
yeah. And then you see this gory scene where it's literally like she's putting like a robot leg on him, but literally like mincing the rest of his leg.
Oh yeah, proper like.
like
Oh yeah, I
I'd
can't
say like
explain it. It's like a blender, isn't
sanding
it?
his leg off, sanding his leg to like a nice
A nub.
yeah, but yeah. And then obviously the Ghoul and the Maximus are fighting during this leg activity.
Yeah.
And then what happens next? Oh
He
yeah,
gets
so
his foot caught, doesn't he? But like, there's that little monologue about obviously the old woman starts telling Lucy that she knows who Moldava is, and Lucy's like, "What does Moldava want with you? She steals dads."
yeah, so she the shopkeeper tells her to take Wilzig to Moldova, and then you get to see your dad. This is you're in. This is your opportunity.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get face to face with her. This is your opportunity. Take Wilzig, you get your dad back. So then she agrees to this, and they escape, don't they?
Yeah, they escape out the back door essentially. Maximus sort of sees them escaping as well, and he carries on fighting with the Ghoul. And
But is it? Yeah,
he gets like a pipe sliced, doesn't he, on his thingy, so he can't like control himself properly, and he manages to fly away. Maximus does, and then like you get this like redeeming moment with a Ghoul where the dog's actually not dead, and he saves the dog. So obviously the Ghoul at this point, you know he's going to use the dog to track the dog, definitely, 100%. But then he goes to the scene where they're walking through the desert. Lucy and the Doc are, and the Doc's essentially like, "Yeah, I've taken a cyanide pill." So he starts talking to her about, "Look, we know about Vault 33, all of this stuff." The Doc knows literally everything. Like, he knows everything. You know, he's got all that information in his head, and he's like, "You need to take me to Moldava, but you only need my head." And he gives her like this saw, and he's like, "Just cut my head off. When I die, cut my head off, and just take my head."
Yes. And obviously, at the end of the episode, she literally chops his head off.
Yeah.
What I found through the whole show though so far, like the music, the music's so funny that to go with the scenes. And there's some bits in episode 3 that we're going to talk about, but there's just some funny like music all the way through it. Like sometimes it goes with the scene, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. So. It's because they just use those like 40s and 50s like music, don't they? Sometimes it's quite eerie though, isn't it? Like, it's proper weird. Like, because you get a couple of bits where like Johnny Cash just starts playing and stuff, don't you?
Yeah. Do you want to kick off episode 3?
Yeah. So obviously at this point the Ghoul's got the dog. But still not happy with him for stabbing the dog. But yeah, the Ghoul's got the dog, and one of the main things I noticed straight away is the Doc had like a nice leather black bag with him. Why didn't she just put his head in the bag? Why is she just carrying his head by his hair? Like, I was like, what is she doing? Just put it in the bag. Obviously, later on in the episode, she puts it in that like blanket and ties it up, sort of thing. So she does sort that, but it just made me laugh when she's just walking around holding his head by his hair.
Yeah, I know I found at the start of the episode, obviously, it is a flashback to Cooper, who is now the Ghoul.
Yeah,
that he used to be an actor, isn't he? And he's performing on this like Western film.
Yeah, that's right. You get like 2 little flashbacks from him, don't you?
Yeah.
So I think you're just going to continue to get flashbacks throughout the season, I think, aren't you? To fill out all the gaps and see what Harry's become, almost like Harry's become. Because obviously at the start of the show, he's like doing kids' parties.
Yeah.
So
he's a famous guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like an old actor or something who's famous, and he starts to he's doing kids' parties and stuff. So I'm hoping obviously to fill in some blanks, because you see another scene a little bit later on, which we'll talk about. But yeah, so it's obviously his wife's there and his kiddo's there, and they're like backstage, aren't they? And they've got like they have a little bit of food and chatting about stuff. it's a very small scene, to be fair, isn't it? What you see, you don't really get to know that much. Just you obviously finally meet his wife and get an idea of what he was doing, and obviously he was an actor. So, obviously Lucy puts what I can assume is like a tracking device up Doc's nose. Puts like a little blue thing up his nose. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's like a tracking device. And then you've got Maximus, who's obviously trying to repair the suit at this point. And he just gets absolutely beat up and knocked out whilst the thugs are trying to steal the suit, because he tries to go back and bargain, doesn't he, to try and get this new piece for his suit to fix the suit and everything.
I like that bit. I like that bit where
that woman
got like 4 coins in his shoe.
Yeah, he's got like 4 caps or something, and she's like, "Nah, I'm not doing that, mate." And he turns around, there's a sign like, "We buy teeth," and he comes back, "Oh God, it's obviously sold one of his teeth, hasn't he, to get the parts sorted for it."
Do it quick and you get extra, and she literally like touches it and it's fixed.
And he's done straight away. He's like, "Oh right."
Going back to the bit where he goes back to the suit though. I like the bit he just goes up and there's always like these bandits like all gathered around this like armor, like this is essentially ours now. And then obviously he gets beaten to a pulp, and he gets done in so bad.
Yeah, he gets absolutely battered again. And then obviously he gets up his trusty metal pole and dirty toilet seat while Johnny Cash starts playing, and then he just gets beat up again.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, Johnny Cash starts playing here, he's going to kick him in. But then he managed to get his arm in the suit, and he grabs that like little ratty little guy's head, doesn't he? And just blows his head clean up, like just squashes his head.
I think ratty guy is the perfect description of that guy.
Yeah, and he just blows his head straight up, doesn't he? Yeah, he's an absolute little weeb, mate. Little dweeb.
I say that toilet seat is such a good weapon though, because like if you're not gonna get killed off by the impact, they're gonna get killed off by like the diseases.
The diseases on that toilet are definitely killing people.
Just to breathe it in or lick it or anything. But yeah, it's.
So he gets like a call, doesn't he? He gets back in he gets that radio transmission. He's like, "Look, we're gonna drop you another squire." It's like, "No, it's all right." It's like, "No, mate, we've got loads of them. Like, we're gonna drop you one off." And obviously, the ship starts coming in, doesn't it? And it drops one off, and he's like getting back in, like repairs the suit up dead quick, gets back in the suit, and he comes over, and it's that guy from boot camp on the first episode, isn't it? One of the guys.
Yeah. Because now, obviously, Maximus is taking the role of Titus, and he's pretending to be Titus.
Yeah, he's pretending to be Lord Titus or whatever his name is.
So he says, "Oh yeah, Maximus is dead. The squire's dead, and this is why." Like literally, like instantly, wasn't it? Like Brotherhood send another squire flying down.
Oh yeah, literally by ship. He's dropped him off straight away.
Yeah.
But then obviously because that guy was instrument in like bullying Maximus in camp and stuff like that, he then makes him clean his crotch guard.
But it's a bit into where like obviously because these what they call like lords on it, lord knights.
Yeah.
These are they're held in high esteem, aren't they? So
yeah, they're almost praising him.
It's like bowing to him, isn't it?
They're almost like gods to him, aren't they? Like kings to him.
Yeah, it's like bowing to Titus or Maximus now, and he puts his hand over his head, he's like crush his head as well. But then he stops and he's like,
yeah.
I won't kill this guy.
He's like, nah, I probably shouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he obviously can bully him a little bit now if he wants to. Makes him clean his crotch guard.
Classic move, isn't it? Classic move.
Yeah. And then it cuts to obviously where all that water is. So looses it all that water with obviously Doc's head and there's that weird mad water creature thing. That steals the head.
Yeah, funny enough, it steals the head of all things.
But in its mouth, it's got like loads of fingers in its mouth, mate. It's proper gross looking. It's like some giant like axolotl type mutant creature with fingers in its mouth. It's proper grim.
It's got like a name as well, but I just couldn't remember what it was. It's like just an ugly lake monster.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call it. I've just put giant mutant axolotl with weird fingers in mouth. That's literally my description of it.
But then obviously the head gets taken by this weird looking monster thing, and then obviously because the ghouls tracked.
Yeah, tracked him.
The doc through the doc's head.
Yeah, through the dog.
He comes behind and goes, where's the head? Oh, I've lost it. Knocks her out. And he takes to that bit of the pier, doesn't he, and starts like trying to
Dunking
lure this
her.
monster. Well, he treads in some like the crap in the monster's crap, and he's like, "Oh, it's one of these, is it?"
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's
And,
grim.
and then he knows what to do, doesn't he? So he tries to lure it in with by dumping Lucy.
Yeah, and
in the water.
she starts pleading with him like, look, stop torturing me, stop torturing me. And he's like, oh, I read all these articles, blah blah, about torture and how it doesn't actually work. She's like, well, why are you doing it then? She's like, I'm not torturing you, I'm using you as bait. Like, there's difference.
Yeah.
Like,
And I forgot to mention, like when the new squire comes in as well, he relays that new message from the elder cleric, which is the
oh
leader
yeah, we've
of
got
the
a new
brotherhood, isn't it?
new target or whatever.
Like this guy, this fugitive, this doc, the information he's got could change the whole of Wasteland. So we need to get him like now.
Yeah, we need that information ASAP.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a part as well where it goes back to the vault, and I've wrote this down just because it made me laugh. A lot of it is just essentially Lucy's cousin and brother just getting told off, essentially, into it, and like they get told their duties. And Lucy's brother is like literally like gives off the same energy as me, mate. It's like lacks enthusiasm with every job he's ever had, mate. That bitch was like, yeah, I can relate to that.
But it's funny, like all the literally every job it explains it like lavatory duty and stuff like that. It's like
Yeah. It's
not
like, yeah, I'm not bothered, mate. Not bothered. Like, you've had all the jobs. He did like, what are you gonna do? You can't demote me when I'm already at the bottom. Like,
yeah. Then they find this job for him, don't they? Of looking after the prisoners that attacked the revolt originally.
yeah,
Do all of this like madheads and madheads
just throwing food everywhere in the little prison, aren't they?
like crazy little kids, aren't they?
Proper.
But we had this other bit as well where the squire is filling the water of the power suit with Maximus inside.
Yeah.
And then Maximus asks him, he goes, "What did you reckon to the squire that died, Maximus?" Obviously, he's still alive, but
Yeah.
and then the squire's like, "Yeah, he was a good guy." And he's like, "What?" He goes, "Say something bad about him." He's like, "Well, the only reason why I bullied him is because diverted the attention off him getting bullied."
It's like, I used to get bullied when I first got there, and obviously when all these new troops came in, I just thought, I pointed him out and just said, let's beat him up instead. And then obviously that made him become popular, and he was essentially just to try and stop him from being bullied. And there's another part as well where he starts talking about his past. He's like, I grew up on a fly farm, and I was a shitter. So basically, they used to feed me.
What a job.
Feed him until he pooed, and then feed his poo to the flies. That was literally his job.
Yeah, it's like that's why I'm fat.
He's like, yeah, that's why I'm fat. I'd be the best at that job, I would, mate.
All the fat people now have an excuse.
Yeah. So his job was literally shitter on fly farm. That was literally his job role.
Get the protein, ridiculous.
Yeah, that was so funny. That was.
So then it goes back to the vault, doesn't it? The vault's having this meeting.
Yeah.
What we're doing about these prisoners. What's the best course of action? We want to do it as like a team. We want to discuss it together. Anyway, these people are like, oh, we'll teach him Shakespeare, we'll teach him maths and all that.
Yeah, like we're trying to rehabilitate them or whatever.
Yeah, because they view it as like because they're uneducated. That's why they're murderers. But then one of them mentions something, and then that Norm guy, he laughs, doesn't he? And the leaders are so awful as well. They're so nerdy, aren't they?
Yeah, they're proper losers, mate. Like, what are you doing?
It's the woman out of Deadpool.
Deadpool, I think it is, Yeah. The blind woman out of Deadpool, isn't
it? Yeah. But so she goes, "What are you laughing at?" And he goes, "What do you reckon we should do with him?" And like most people at that point, just kill him.
Yeah.
They came to kill us, just kill him.
Yeah, just kill him.
Obviously, the crowd's like obviously not happy about it.
Yeah, like proper shots.
There is one person, isn't he? The woman.
The woman, was it the pregnant woman who had one eye?
Because obviously she lost her husband, she wants that payback. So
you'd have to agree with it at some point, though, wouldn't you? Because they don't want to open the vault up. Let's be honest, they're not going to rehabilitate them, and it's not going to happen, is it?
And also it says like it's going to take years to like do.
Yeah, it's going to take multiple years. It's not an overnight thing.
And then that dude comes in, doesn't he? It's like
the water reserve. The water chip.
Yeah, it's damaged.
It's damaged. We only got 2 months left of water, and then we're done for. And everyone's like, "Oh
Yeah,
no!" So they probably will end up killing them.
yeah.
And obviously,
They
at that
can't give it
point,
to
you
them.
get Maximus and Squire, or well, no, sorry, Lucy and the Ghoul. The Ghoul's like, "Oh, their digestive system takes a while to process. We've got a bit of time." So they like wander off somewhere, don't they?
Because it gives her is it the poison they have? Is it or it gives the monster something, doesn't she? She puts
Yeah.
something in his
So
mouth.
like, it takes a while. It's gonna
Yeah,
we'll come back, and then
yeah,
obviously Maximus and his new Squire, they end up strolling up there, don't they? And obviously they're looking around, wondering, "Oh, where are we going?" Because he's got like a radar, like a radiation gun,
yeah,
which detects
yeah,
radiation and stuff. And obviously he's looking for the Doc's head essentially, and the Ghoul. I'm
yeah.
assuming looking for the Ghoul as well, because he'll be giving off the most radiation, won't he? So they get to that water bit as well, and you get this scene where like the
So
Squire's
funny.
like, "No, don't worry, I'll take it on. I'll take it on." And Maximus is like, "No, get out of the water." It's like, "Thank you so much, thank you," like because he knows he's gonna die if he takes it on, doesn't he?
I just like the bit where like it's about the monster jumps over Maximus, doesn't he? And then that guy just like blasts it with his like
That one
Gatling gun.
yeah, one bullet, and it
Yeah,
comes straight after him.
yeah. And it's like funny music where it's like trying to swallow him, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Maximus trying to pull him out, and that's when you see the fingers, isn't it?
yeah.
The
That's where you
fingers
see all
coming
the
out.
grim fingers and stuff. But then obviously he pulls him out, but it must use so much force. It like turns his insides like out of his mouth or something happens,
Yeah,
doesn't it? He like spews everywhere, and obviously the head comes out.
the grand
And
prize.
yeah, so they've got the final prize on that. So yeah, they managed to come out with the head. So
I do like the squad. At first, obviously, when you're
yeah,
watching it, you're like episode one, oh, this guy's a knob. He's like
you
bullying
sort of
people, and
do understand where he's coming from in a sense, though, don't you? You know when he mentions like, "Oh, it's
yeah,
because I was bullied and stuff." You sort of you get it in a way, don't you? Like why he's
yeah,
done it. So
yeah,
and
that's
he
right.
doesn't. You're right. He doesn't seem like a horrible person or anything, does he? He's just trying to survive, really.
Hmm. But yeah, it's like it's quite like a comedic character as well, which I
Yeah, he is
enjoy. I think
funny.
it's a fun character.
It's fun. It's like, yeah, well,
And it's
I grew up on the fly farm. I was a shitter. Like he's just talking about like it's dead normal.
that's it then. That's it. We've reached the end of
Reach the end of the
the
episodes
shows.
here, mate. Reach the end of the episode. Oh, shall we move on to this tier list?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a yeah, we've got a bit of a surprise, haven't we?
Oh,
For something new. We got a gaming
something.
tier list.
It's a console tier list. Console? Yeah, console tier list. Thought I said it wrong then.
Yeah,
So it's not massive, but there's a good 20, 30, 24, 26 consoles on here, ranging from like there's a few handhelds on there. There's
yeah,
a few, quite a lot of proper consoles. We've narrowed it down to basically what essentially it mostly played as children, or we have played in. There's a couple I haven't played, but Martin has played. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you want to. We've got S, A, B, C, D, and F tier. I think I'm
yeah.
going to kick this off. I think you'll agree with me
Go
on
on.
this one. My first S tier pick was the PlayStation 1.
I've got it.
Um,
I'm looking at my list. I've got it there.
I've
Yeah,
basically, it's an iconic console for me as a child. It gave birth to some of the greatest franchises ever. Resident Evil, a load of Final Fantasies were on that console. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games were on that console. And it's sort of like, I know the N64 also had a lot of the 3D sort of games as well, but it it was a lot of arcadey type games as well came to this with the guns, and it was just for me it's one of the most iconic consoles ever. I think most people would agree on that as well, in terms of revolutionizing it. You've got the dual analog sticks, they came about on the PS1. It's just a fantastic console. It really is an absolute fantastic console.
and another mention of the games on there. That was the start of the Tekken. Obviously, Tekken's massive now.
Oh,
And
huge,
I
absolutely
love Tekken
huge.
3. Tekken 3 on the PlayStation
I remember we
is
used to go on holiday in a caravan, mate, like back in the day, and I used to play Tekken with my auntie. We used to take the PS1, and I didn't know the buttons, so I just got my palm, my hand, and just like hammered all of the buttons on it, and I just do some mad combos and that by accident because I didn't know what I was doing.
become the best fighter on it by smashing
Yeah.
the guns.
Right.
My my first S tier. I've got the Mega Drive. Mega
Sega
Drive for
Mega
me.
Drive.
I did have
It
the
says
Atari.
Sega Genesis on here, but I believe they're pretty much the same thing. The Genesis and Mega
Yeah,
Drive
yeah.
are the same thing. I've also got that in my S tier.
But like that was a start for me. Like I did have the Atari before that and the Spectrum, but as far as consoles went, for me that was a start. I think we had the Sonic 1 and 2, and we had Space Area to start with. But after that, games that came out, we had Street Fighters, Streets of Rage, all the Sonic games. It was
There's so many good games on that.
yeah,
I've actually touched on this console as well on the podcast already. I think it might have been episode 1. When we was talking about our backgrounds with anime and gaming and stuff, and I mentioned this, and I did speak of it then with very high regard. I used to play this console so much as a kid at my nan's house, at my house, literally so much, and I used to absolutely love this console, and it'll always be in the S tier for me. It's a fantastic console.
yeah.
Right.
It's just up there for like a legendary console for me. It was just
Oh yeah,
the
massively.
memories you have from it is just so much. Like
Um, I'm gonna go with a handheld, and this is the newest console I've put on in S tier, and that's the Nintendo Switch. I'm
I
put
agree with that.
I essentially I've only put one note, and that's best handheld console of all time. The Nintendo Switch. There's been so many good handhelds out there in the past. Nintendo especially have done a lot of good handhelds. Um, the Game Boy Color, for example, Advance, which we'll touch on these a little bit later on, PSPs, all that sort of stuff. But there's been absolutely nothing like the Nintendo Switch. It's such a versatile console. It's an actual console, not just a handheld. It's literally an actual console you can use as a handheld. Like it's so good. It'll always be. It's probably the most revolutionary in terms of handhelds now. I can touch on other ones a little bit later on, but yeah, Nintendo Switch definitely an S tier for me.
Yeah, I think for me as well. Like at my S tier, another handheld. I thought 3DS was for me. It was up there because we had like Pokemon games on there. For me, Fire Emblem games. But so many games, and they had that little like Me Universe kind of thing as well, where you
Oh
can like
yeah,
get friends online. And me and my friend went to a gaming event, and we literally got so many friends, and you get all these like prizes and stuff, all these presents and stuff. Just a little that side thing, but that was massive. I can't remember what the name was on it, but yeah, that was
I've
massive when
popped
it
it
came
in
out.
S, but I actually had a 3DS in B tier for me.
Did you?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I never had one. I had the Nintendo DS, but I never
yeah,
had a 3DS, and I put 3DS in B tier just because obviously they brought out the 3DS XL version, so you could have the bigger screen and everything as well, which I appreciate. That was
yeah.
quite a big thing at the time. So they had some really good features, but because I didn't have it, I just thought, out of fairness, I'll pop it in B essentially.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously we both got different memories from these
Yeah, of
consoles, so
course.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I've only got two more that would be an S tier.
yeah,
I'm going to go on a bit of a curveball this one. I'm actually going Game Boy Color in S
yeah. I've got
tier.
it in my S. Yeah,
So I did originally have the original Game Boy in S tier. However, I've dropped that down and I've decided with the Game Boy Color purely because the Game Boy Color, there's literally a picture of me from the 90s or like early 2000s in my nan's living room playing on the Game Boy Color, mate. I used to play that console all the time. It had so many. Essentially, the reason I prefer it to the original is just because it had better games on it. It had essentially the same games and more. So many more Pokemon games were on that, and that is the main reason that it's in there, just purely because of Pokemon games, like the Gold and all of the all of the other Pokemon games that came out on it as well. And obviously there was some that came out on the Advance and things like that, but because the Game Boy Color is what sort of revolutionised that for me, and in my childhood sort of stuck with me a lot. That's why I've popped that in S tier.
yeah. I mean, like with the Game Boy Color on the Pokemon games, I literally used to play it like all day, and my
Oh,
battery used to
constant,
run out.
yeah.
I'd have to charge them up and stuff like that, and swap batteries and stuff. So
I remember
Yeah,
getting
the
these
Pokemon
different
games.
attachments where you could actually get rechargeable battery attachments. You get little attachments on top that had like a light on it and like a magnifying glass
Yeah.
thing to make the screen look bigger. So
There's
many.
a camera as well. There's a
Yeah,
camera,
I had
wasn't
the
there, as well?
camera one, which
Yeah.
came with a little printer and you could print stuff out, like pictures out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. I mean, it weren't very good quality, like looking back at it now, but back then it was like you'd never had anything with that many different sort of like accessories and
Yeah.
stuff. It was so good.
Yeah, and I don't think that's why it's up there for me as well in S tier. It's so good. So I've got another one in S tier. For me, Super Nintendo SNES. For me
Super
was
Nintendo.
so we had the Genesis, we had the Mega Drive, and then next came the Super Nintendo, which we had it both at the same time. Obviously, we had like Mario All Stars, Donkey Kong Country, Sunset Riders, all these other games. Just made it in the S tier for me because it's again so many good memories of playing this. This used to be in my mum and dad's room, and literally just there all day, just playing these games. But yeah,
Is that
that's
your last S tier?
no. I've got one more.
Have you? See, my
So
last one is Xbox 360, mate.
that's
Xbox
in
Xbox 360 for me is one
that's
of the
18.
most iconic modern consoles. The online experience was one of the best ever. It had better security than the PS3 because I used to always get hacked and people's credit card details used to be done for, mate, done and dusted. That was it. But it gave birth. The original Xbox controller was pretty good, but the Xbox 360 controller, mate, it's got to be one of the best controllers ever of all time, mate. The Xbox controller today still stands as the best controller. I don't care what anyone says, mate. It's the most comfortable controller ever. It's so good.
Yeah, with the Xbox 360 for me, it's an A class because I didn't personally have one. My brother had one,
Yeah,
but at that time I was playing PS3. But I appreciate from what people have said, from what I've seen, that Xbox 360 is a great console.
yeah, it's fantastic console.
So the last one for S for me is a PS2. That game, I think that console
Oh
was
yeah,
just
sorry, yeah, I've got PS2 in mine as well. I'm lying to
yeah.
you. I forgot we
P-
hadn't done that one yet,
PS2 for me is one of the best consoles that have come out. Just the games on that
mate. I literally
at the
put
time.
San Andreas, Vice City, more Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, Bully,
Yeah.
Simpsons Hit and Run was on that as well, and I know it was on the other one as well. But so many good games come out on PS2, mate. Some of the Spider-Man games on there were so sick as well. I think the Spider-Man 2 movie or Spider-Man 3 movie game was wicked on that, mate.
So then you had obviously we didn't mention it on PlayStation, but we had the Metal Gear Solid, the first one. On
Yeah,
the PS2, we had the second one, third one,
yeah.
and I think the fourth one.
Sure,
On
God
the
of War
PS2.
started on
God
PS2.
of War. Yeah.
So many
So
iconic games.
such a great console. I had so much fun with that. That was
Oh, mate.
for me. It's up there. It's up there, mate.
In my
That's a
opinion,
legendary.
PS2 might be the best console ever, mate. 100%.
Like they've had like the PS3, 4, and 5 since, but nothing compares.
Yeah, like
for me.
I'm gonna. I figured instead of us going through a list, because to be fair, I've only wrote notes for S tier down.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested in it. Wing it.
We'll reel one off, mate.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Wii U.
Ready. For me, we had one, but it's never. It was just a watered down Wii, and for me, the Wii's in the B category. So,
Mate, I've put a Wii U as F.
D for me.
Mate, I thought it was. I honestly, I didn't have one, and I thought it was pointless. I honestly thought it was so pointless. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, we had one, but we.
I'll pop it in D just to be generous, but yeah, honestly, my mate had one, and I played on it once, man. I thought this is a waste of time. Like, it came out in the wrong time. Obviously, that essentially led to the Nintendo Switch, didn't it? Really, but
Yeah.
that just worked. The Wii U just wasn't good, mate. They did such a good job of swapping that front to the Switch.
Yeah, it was after the Wii, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
I thought to me it was dead similar, and it didn't really offer that much games. I mean, people listening in and watching might have different views of it. But
Yeah, of course.
for me,
I'm going to lead on to the Nintendo Wii then after that, because I've got I'd have B tier for Nintendo Wii as well.
Yeah,
Just
same, yeah.
purely because the Nintendo Wii for me was a little bit of like a gimmick thing, in a sense of like, like the Wii Fit, the Wii like the Olympics, all them sort of games like this Wii Sports. Don't get me wrong, you can have so much fun on them. However, the Wii did bring some very good Zelda games. Like
Yeah.
there were some really good games on the Wii, but it just yeah, it's just not as good as some of the other consoles. But it was still pretty good. That's why I've got it as a B tier as well, because you could have a lot of fun on the Wii, but it was one of them ones that it's almost like a console that used to get set aside a lot, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, it like got for me. It like got brought up like when you go like a party around someone's ass,
Yeah, when you
or
got your
like
mates round
traveling.
or whatever.
It was great for that. I mean, but it had a lot of when it came out, it had a lot of backlash around it because obviously people were throwing the controllers through the TVs and
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
and hitting
I've
people
witnessed
with it
that
and
a
stuff.
few times. Witnessed that a few times.
Uh, that was quite
One
funny.
of the very good things with the Wii though was that you could use Nintendo GameCube games and plug in the GameCube controllers to it as well,
Yeah,
which was a very good feature. Which leads me on to then the Nintendo GameCube.
I've got it in A.
I've got it in A as well.
Yeah,
That's where I'd take it purely because I didn't. We had one. I didn't play it. I didn't play it loads and loads and loads and loads, but I have some very fond memories of that console, mate. Mainly for Super Smash Bros. Um,
Mario Kart for me.
Mario Kart as well. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and the controller as well. It was like they took the Nintendo 64 controller and made it a little bit easier to use. And
comfortable. Yeah,
yeah, it was. I really enjoyed that as a console. One of my friends had like a little screen that you could attach to it, and like it was such a tiny little screen. But yeah, he'd bring that in, and I remember it was show and tell at school in like primary school, and he brought that in with a screen, and we just stayed in like classroom all day, mate, playing on the GameCube for
yeah.
show and tell and stuff.
What I liked about the GameCube as well, it's like a cute console as well, and
Oh, it
it
had a
had
little
that like
strap on the back, didn't it?
yeah, so you can carry it around with you,
You could take it to your
go
mate's
on
house
like little
dead easy,
journeys.
couldn't you?
Yeah. But yeah, there's some great games on that. Like you say, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, so good, so good.
Right,
Mario
I'm gonna
Party as
shoot
well.
off here to the Nintendo Entertainment System, the normal NES.
NES. Um,
I've got it in
for
B.
me, I've got it in A, just for the fact that it's what brought around the SNES. NES was just it was the start of it, wasn't it? And then the
Yeah,
SNES came out after.
yeah.
So
I'll
I
put it
don't.
in A because I'll put it in A.
I mean, still leave it in B if you want. It's up to you. Isn't
The
it?
only reason I'll put it in B is because I never had one, and
I
the
never had
Super
one, but
Nintendo just did it so much better.
yeah,
Like it's just the SNES was so much better. Even the controller was a lot more ergonomic. It was easier to hold. I've played it. I've played the NES before. The control's obviously just a square, a whole rectangle. Sorry, it's just very
yeah,
squared edges and all that sort of stuff. So I will pop it in A because you got to put a bit of respect on it, haven't you? Because all the Mario games, a
yeah.
lot of Mario worlds came out.
Donkey Kong,
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong stuff.
There's a lot of games that came out on that console that did revolutionise gaming in general. To be fair, so yeah, I can respect it in A.
I didn't own one myself, but I did play one around my mates' house, and they had
Yeah,
a. I remember playing Alex Kidd. That was a great game. But yeah, like you say, they had Sonic. Sorry, they didn't have Sonic on there. They had Mario, all the Mario's
Mario's. Yeah,
on there. So yeah,
I'm gonna go for one that
that's
I've not had or played, but you have. I'm going for a Sega Saturn, mate. What we're saying on that?
oh, it's great. It's great. We had obviously we still own one. My brother brother owns one.
I know
Um, yeah,
it was a disc console, wasn't it? It was like one of the first disc consoles.
yeah. I think it was. Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the games we played on it. We had so much fun on that. It was like Diode Arcade. That was a
Oh
great
right,
game. It was a bit like Streets of Rage.
yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think now. There was we had like Power Stone was on there. Was it the Dreamcast? No, it was Dreamcast. I'm trying to think now. Yeah, I've put it in my eight. I put it in A tier for me.
I'll chuck it in A.
It's,
I can't have any opinion on it because I've never played it.
I'm trying to think now. There was so many good games, but I just can't think at the moment what was on it. But I think it's like Panzer Dragoon was on it. That was another game we played.
Yeah,
So
so I'm gonna go as a bit of a. Do you know what the original Xbox?
I didn't own one, but I put it in
I
A
did.
tier.
I've
Put
put
it
it
in
in
A
A
tier for me.
tier. I'll put it in A purely because of Halo, mate. It was my
Yeah.
first ever online experience was on the original Xbox as well, on Halo 2. But we spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on that console, mate, just cramped in a room playing co-op like and split screen on Halo games. So yeah, it's got to be A tier for me as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, and I mean, I know how much people loved it. Obviously, it was Microsoft's first console that came out. They got in this like gaming war, this
yeah.
against obviously Sony. But yeah, I didn't have my own one myself. My friend had one, but I appreciate the Halos were a massive hit.
Seems
Gears
that
of
we've
War,
done the Xbox 360 already. PS3.
PS3 through me is in A tier. I didn't own one. I enjoyed the games I played on it.
I'll put it in A.
But
Mine, it's in B for me because
yeah,
I wasn't really that bothered about it, to be honest with you. Now,
yeah,
in B as well for me, I've got Xbox One and PS4 in B tier, mate. Because at this point, I was a PC gamer at this point, and I thought the console war was a bit dead, really, in my opinion. And although the consoles were good, there's nothing revolutionary about them at this point. And
yeah. Like I was saying earlier, like PS3, PS4 are both in A tier for me. PS5's in A tier as well, but nothing beats PS2. PS2 was
no. So see,
next
so
level.
what I did is Xbox One and PS4 I had in B tier, but PS5 and the new Xbox I had in A tier purely because of the new 4K, the new
Yeah,
60 FPS, the non-capped graphics, that sort of thing. So I've chucked those both of them because I essentially I'm not bothered about consoles anymore in terms of like, oh, PlayStation's better than Xbox because essentially you're going to get something different from both. And
yeah.
power wise, they're the same thing, really, aren't they now? So I have to lump them both in the same category. But are you happy with PS5 being in A and Xbox being in A?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, obviously, PS5 got their exclusives. Xbox got this the Game Pass, which is
Yeah, and
so
they've
good.
obviously been
Such
buying
a
like Bethesda and like loads of different other
yeah.
companies now, and
So they've both got on both sides of the coin. They're both good in their own way.
yeah,
Um,
I put
but they're still in A
uh,
tier for me.
I put PS4 in A tier as well for you, just because obviously it's a joint one. Right?
Yeah,
Did you ever own one of these? A Game Gear,
I did,
mate? I'm
and it's in
positive
A tier.
I'm gonna find it. And when I find it, mate, I'm doing a short with me with it. It's in A tier for me as well, mate. We had it was literally the Sega Mega Drive, but as a handheld, mate, and it used to take AA batteries. Like,
Yeah, it was
I'm
massive, wasn't it? It was
positive. Yeah, I'm
so
positive.
good.
Still got one in my mum's attic. We definitely had a Sonic game on it. I remember that. There was some. I can't remember what the other games was we had. We didn't have many games for it, but I was very young when we did have it. But I just remember playing it and just thinking, this is like, because obviously you went from the Game Boy to sitting with that in your hand, and it was
Yeah,
big. It was so big, but it felt like a lot of power like in your hands, didn't it? Because it was just a
yeah.
Sega Mega Drive essentially.
I remember when we had the Game Gear, we took it on holiday because we went to like Spain or something like that. And we took it on holiday. It's like literally took up the whole bag in it.
Yeah,
It's massive.
yeah, it's literally like that big, isn't it? Even as an adult,
Yeah.
it's still big.
So yeah, I used to play like we had like Tuck Rock, Sonic.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Road Rash on it. Road Rash was so good on that console. Just a little handheld flipping device. But yeah, I think I was played. Yeah, I think Sonic and Road Rash was probably the main games I played on
Sonic
that.
was
My
the main
uncle
one
used
we
to have
used to play on it.
one. Yeah,
I've just chucked Xbox One in B tier, by the way, because obviously I used to have an Xbox One. I love the controller, mate, but again, I just didn't think anything revolutionary of it.
mm.
Doesn't mean it's a bad console. It was what it was. It lasted a very long time. Don't get me wrong. I had it on release, and I've still got it. Still got it now. It still works, mate. I've still got it in my son's room. Nintendo DS Standard Edition. This is.
So I own one of these,
I did as
but
well.
I also owned a 3DS. So
So
the 3DS trumps.
I've actually put the normal DS in B tier, mate.
It's on my BT as well. Yeah.
I'll pop it in B tier. Don't get me wrong, it was good. There was a lot of good stuff with it.
Yeah, Brain Academy. I remember being a big
Yeah,
one
but
on that.
I was still happy with Game Boys, mate. At that point, I weren't even that
Yeah.
bothered. Um,
It's because it had the stylus, wasn't it? The stylus was like the main
yeah,
thing
that's
on it.
right.
It
Because
had
it had a little
the full
touchscreen bit at the
screen
bottom,
as well.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Now the Game Boy Advance. What we're saying with that bad boy? Did you have one of these?
Yeah, yeah. I did have one. Still
I had
got
one
one.
as well.
B. That's in B tier for me.
I've put it in B, and I tell you what, the Game Boy Advance SP was better,
Yeah.
but the SP isn't on this list. But Game Boy Advance is in B tier. Again, it was good. You got a lot of the Pokemon games. That's essentially all you bought it for. I'm not gonna lie. Essentially, Pokemon games. That's it. But obviously, the Pokemon games at that point were already established from the Game Boy Color. Same with the
Yeah.
DS as well. You're sort of just leading on from the color. The color like sort of like got some of the best Pokemon games from that, and then obviously they just adapted that throughout, essentially, didn't they?
Yeah, with Game Boy Advance for me, like I was a big fan of Fire Emblem. That the first of the games came on Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
So obviously that's me playing them. Recently, well, not recently, a couple of years ago, I broke my wrist. Smashed 2 games on that.
Oh, yeah, I remember you did that.
Yeah, 2 Fire Emblem games on that. So yeah,
PS Vita.
I owned one. I played it very little.
I've got it in
Um,
C tier, mate.
where have I? Oh, mine's in B. Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't really play a load of it. I played
And
the Uncharted game on it.
in
That
my
was-
opinion, if this came out in 2020, mate, and rivaled the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation did the handheld properly, this would have had the potential, if they did it right, to beat the Nintendo Switch.
yeah.
It just wasn't the PlayStation port, but it weren't the PSP, mate. The PSP for me was so much better than the PS Vita. But I've only got the PSP in B.
I've got it in A.
Have you got it in A? To be fair, I could
Yeah.
push it in A just purely because of Crisis Core, mate. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah. I know you've got very good memories of that, haven't you?
I loved it, mate. But
Good old Zach.
I tell you what, though, the PSP, if you modded your PSP, mate, it was honestly the best thing that's ever happened, ever. A modded PSP was so sick, mate. But the only thing that did let the PSP down is it didn't have dual analogs. But by the time the PS Vita came out with dual analogs, it didn't matter anymore. Like, no one cared, did they? That was the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the PSP, I will happily have that in A tier because it is top banter level, mate. Love it. The classic Game Boy.
Oh, classic Game Boy. That's an A for me
Is it?
Totally because it's a legendary start to a handheld.
It's a legendary brick, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is
It's still classic, isn't it? It's still.
Yeah, it weren't the colour in terms of the depth of the games you could get from it, but the games, quality of games, and the games that you could get were very good. Like a lot of the Mario games, handhelds on that, very good.
It's a start of Tetris. It's a start of Tetris, wasn't it, as well?
Tetris, yeah, Tetris on that bad boy. Sega Master System's on here, but I'm pretty sure neither of us had one of those.
I didn't own one, but I appreciate it's a great console.
I'm going to put it
I'll
in
put it in A.
B. I'm going to put it in B.
Yeah.
Purely because I've never played one. You have played one, so I'm going to meet in the middle here, mate. I'm going to just put it in B tier.
Yep, that's fine.
We've got 2 left, mate. 2 big boys left.
It's one of them Nintendo 64.
One of them is a Nintendo 64, mate.
Yeah, it's A for me, though.
Nintendo 64 could easily have been S tier if the controller wasn't whack, mate. The controller was so bad on that console.
I remember I got like a certain way of holding it, and it was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, like
like really weird.
It's if they'd have just figured the controller out on that console, it could easily have been the best console event of all time, easily, like ever. You had one of the best games of all times on that. Ocarina of Time, mate, is one of the best games ever. Pokemon Stadium, mate, what a sick game. Star Fox games were sick.
Super Mario 64.
Yeah, Super Mario
Great game.
64. There's so many good games on that console, and it's just let down by
GoldenEye.
the awful, awful, absolute anchor of a controller, mate.
Yeah, GoldenEye was probably the top game I played on that console.
GoldenEye, yeah, GoldenEye. What the hell, mate? Why did they
Sunk
make that?
hours in that game.
The person who made that controller, I need to Wikipedia them, mate, see what happened to them, because I don't think they're around anymore, mate.
They probably got put in like a, I don't know, probably got killed off or something.
And then the last but not least, mate, is the Dreamcast.
Legendary, mate. Legendary. It was short lived, but
See,
it was legendary.
I'm going to put it in A tier, but I could easily put this in B tier. Purely because the lack of support for that console, mate, and how short lived it was so disappointing. Like,
Well, it's rivaling the PS2, wasn't it? So,
it could have been great though. Like, there was some
I read,
great games for that console, mate.
yeah, I read up with the Dreamcast. It's like harder to make games. I don't know if that makes any
Yeah, it
sense.
was a bit.
It
It was a bit random, wasn't it?
But I thought the controller was comfortable. It had the like
Oh yeah, the little mini screen thing on it, didn't
and
it?
you had that little games and stuff like make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
it was more difficult to make games on it, and it was rivaling the PS2. So, but for me, our family had one. We played loads of it. So many
Yeah.
good games.
I mean, what do you
Sonic
on that?
Adventure.
Loads of Sonic games on there. The first proper 3D Sonic games came to the Dreamcast, didn't they?
Sonic Adventure, Power Stone. Oh mate, obviously Street Fighter was on there as well.
Yeah.
Toy Commander.
You get like Alone in the Dark was on there, I think.
The House of the Dead.
Pretty sure there was a sick Digimon game on there. One sec. Was that on the Dreamcast? I can't remember now.
I didn't really play Digimon games, but
Hey, I used to love Digimon. I don't think there was. Actually, I'm thinking of something else. I think that was on the PS1. To be fair, PS2.
yeah, they had like House of the Dead was on Dreamcast. They had like a light gun as well. They brought out.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I had some really good stuff to it. It's just a shame
Jet Set Radio, that was on there, mate.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio. Yeah.
Yeah, Fantasy Star Online. Mate, there's so many good games on that. Soul Calibur, that was released on there. First Soul Calibur.
Such a great game, isn't it?
Yeah, great console.
Killick was my favourite character in it.
Great console, mate. But yeah, it was just let down by, so I'd say, lack of support. So I could have put that in B, to be fair, but I do know what you mean. With it being
it was rivaling PS2, wasn't it? So
yeah, it's odd. It's odd battle, isn't it? It's odd battle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that leaves. That's what our console list looks like, guys. A lot of you will probably disagree, but we're right in terms of what goes where. Let's be honest. So
we're gonna put it in the Discord, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll pop it in the Discord. I'm gonna save it now whilst we're on. Download image, done. And yeah, it was a shorter one in terms of the consoles. We could have probably picked more consoles, but I tried to go with one with more consoles that we've actually played and we know. And the problem is with me and Martin is we're both. You've probably realised at this point we're on nostalgia whores. So if we played it when we was kids, mate, it's legendary. Do you know what I mean? If we've got fond memories of it, you're not beating it. Like, it is what it is.
I know a lot. Maybe some people who are maybe a bit younger who are listening in.
Yeah,
they won't appreciate the same, but their list will be different. But
yeah, of course. But that's everyone to their own, isn't it? But yeah, this is what we think's our best console. So we're gonna probably end it here, aren't we?
Yeah, man.
So if you did like this tier list as well, guys, as I say, get in the Discord. We'll put our picture to it and a link to it as well, so you can obviously do your own and let us know what you'd have ruled obviously the systems at.
We've got a few more, haven't we? A few more tier lists.
Yeah, we've got plenty. Sneak peek of one of them is going to be who we could beat in a fight. So look forward to that one, mate.
Getting the characters together, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting them together.
The opponents.
I must admit, we can beat just about anyone, to be fair, but depends on the circumstance, doesn't it? So, yeah, look forward to that one. This tier list as well we'll put up separately on our YouTube channel. Go subscribe to that, like the videos. We're on Spotify. Go follow us on Spotify when you're driving, when you're on the bus, going to school, going to work, whatever you're doing. Give us a listen on Spotify. It really helps us out. We love your feedback as well, so get on Discord. Discord's the main one, really. Jump in Discord, join our community. Just have a chat with us, man. That's literally all we care about. Literally, just come and have a chat, have a laugh, share your memes, share your tears, everything. Yeah, just come say hello.
Yeah, it's been good, man.
So yeah, if you did like it, we'll be here again next Friday. So peace out.
Yeah.